Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Habs Tonight show with myself, Adrian, and Marco. We finally have a trade to break down. It's been a minute, but Kent Hughes is back at it again with his wizardry. For those who are living under a rock, let me just recap what just happened here. We just acquired Sean Monahan from the Calgary Flames and a conditional 2025 first round pick for absolutely nothing. Zero. For free. So, anyways, we're gonna break it down for you guys. And I mean, we have to start off with the centerpiece of the trade, right? Sean Monahan. Now, Adrian, I know you have a special connection to the Monahan family, so why don't you explain to us your thoughts on this trade here?
Yeah, thanks. I do have I have a connection with the Monahans. I'm from Brampton. He's from my hometown, and his mom is was one of my former teachers from school way back when, and we still keep in touch. So and it's really cool. Like I've learned about his hockey career a lot as like from when he was playing AAA up till now. And I've wanted him to always be on the Habs. So this is definitely a dream come true for me. It's definitely it's a feel good trade, you know. And I
Yeah.
also wanted to show for anyone watching, I got this signed Monahan cap. He gave me a couple years ago. Him and his mom gave me, so that was kind of cool. And just on top of it too, like for his production on the ice, if Sean stays healthy, I think he can be a good piece for this team. When he's healthy, he's one of the better two-way centers in the league. So I'm pretty stoked to see what he can do for the red, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's an awesome story that you shared with the Monahan family and all that, and the signed cap and all. That's really really cool, Adrian. But yeah, like you said, if his health is there, which unfortunately with Sean Monahan, his health has been an issue. It's kind of riddled him later. Well, most recently in his career. Before that, him and Gaudreau were absolutely lining up for the Flames. Both of them were working like superstars, and they really helped the Flames get to that next level. But then injuries started to take toll. I think he's had about 4 surgeries now, Monahan, 4 different surgeries. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. But yeah, injuries have definitely played a toll on him. And he went from being to giving out the superstar production to being a healthy scratch recently. But I mean, when healthy, he could be a tremendous asset to the team. And obviously, we didn't give up a single thing to acquire him. And we got a conditional first round pick, which we could get into further detail. We know there's a laundry list of conditions that come with
Oh my
that pick.
God.
But
Ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, to get Monahan and a conditional first for absolutely free, I mean, no one could really complain about that. I think the only issue at the beginning was the salary cap because we were over the cap and we still have to sign Kirby Doc. But now we have the news that Carey Price is going to be hitting LTIR and will most likely miss the season, which we'll get into more detail later on. But so basically, we're able to make it work. Hopefully, now we got the room to sign Doc too. But yeah, what do you think about the whole acquisition, Shayne?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the Carey stuff a bit later here, but at first, I mean, Sean Monahan, you know, I remember the good old days, right? Back in 2018-2019 season was his best. He had 82 points in 78 games, so he's able to be a over a point per game player. He's had what 3 over 30 goal seasons, so the talent is there, right? It was just a matter of injuries and opportunities. He was bumped down in the lineup and injuries just kind of hindered his production. So fresh start here, new team, new coach that a lot of players want to play for. So hopefully Marty can get the best out of Sean and utilize him in the best way possible. And I know, Adrian, you talked to Sean's mom earlier, and she seemed pretty happy about him being a Hab as well. I think we all are, really. I mean, this guy was picked 6th overall, right? So we know there's potential there. He's 6'2", 27 years old. So I think we have to be excited, even if it's just for this season or even until trade deadline, whoever knows what happens. I think we have a good piece here, and the first round pick on top of that. Like, come on, we won't go through all the conditions because we'll be here until tomorrow, but it's a first round pick nonetheless that we got for free. So thanks, Calgary. And I mean, they got Nazem Kadri as well. So I think both teams come out with a W this today. By the way, what'd you guys think of that deal? 7 years, $7 million for Kadri. Is that pretty good or overpay?
Yeah, I think that's a good deal. I was hearing rumors like earlier in the month in late July that maybe like the Islanders were going to be, the team to grab him, and they were waiting, kind of stalling to sign him. But that move kind of just came out of nowhere, and it's pretty awesome though. I think that's again, Brad Trevling is really like revamped himself after losing Goudreau and all of the heat, no pun intended, all the heat and flame he took for for
Yeah.
losing arguably his best player on his roster. Was able to get Kachuk for Huberdeau and Uyghur
Mm-hmm.
and lock those guys up long term. And now with Nazem Kadri, great. I think the term is not bad. The money is not bad too. I honestly thought he was going to get more, but
Mm-hmm.
so I guess you can say it's a team friendly deal, I guess, in terms of AAV. So yeah, Calgary's definitely going to be back in the mix next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Adrian. I was surprised too when I saw 7 million to be like the final offer that Kadri would accept, because especially with the season that he had, he was really like increase his price, and he was really fishing for that extra dollar. And he was looking at the sort of 8 million, 9 million range, and then he finally settled for 7. So maybe that's sort of some indication that he wouldn't mind going back to Canada. We all know that he's from there. He had previously played for the Maple Leafs. Maybe he sees some potential in the Flames' future, and he'd be like, okay, like this is a team that I see myself like enjoying playing long term, and then I see success with the team in the future. So I think it's a good deal. 7x7 for Kadri. I mean, Flames are getting a quality player. They have Huberdeau and Uyghur to go on top of that with him, even though they lost some major building pieces with Kachuk and Gaudreau. Obviously, they're two best players. I think the return that they got, especially now with the addition of Kadri, is very good for the Flames. And I'm sure that Kadri himself is excited to get started with this new team. The future is definitely looking bright for them. And I do also expect them to stay competitive for next season, maybe even make the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, we have to shout out Brad Treliving for the turnaround. Like at one point, the Flames were just a shit show. It was so bad, losing Gaudreau, losing Kachuk. And now, you add, like you said, Adrian, there, Huberto and Uyghur, and now Nazem Kadri. They're looking nasty. They're looking pretty nasty. So watch out for the Flames. But we have to talk about this real quick here, because we really didn't see these kinds of moves a couple of years ago, right? This is a new thing. Future considerations, like I don't really remember seeing those before, but now that's all we see, right? Max Pacioretty was traded for future considerations. Like, is this the norm now? Are we seeing more and more cap moves in a sense?
Yeah, the future considerations things, like honestly, I've seen like in baseball and in Major League Baseball a lot. They use that term a lot when they trade maybe like a salary dump, kind of like some of the trades that have been happening, right? I think it's gonna definitely be it's definitely been a trend. I think what started it was when Fleury got traded to Chicago. I think from what I can remember, that's the first one, the first big one that I saw. You see some kind of like minor trades here and there for like the future considerations things in the past, like before that. But yeah, that's definitely, I think, going to be the new norm, especially teams that have to clear cap space and be cap compliant. You'll definitely see a lot more of those happening for sure.
Yeah, I mean, especially if the flat cap kind of stays the same, or if that persists in the league, then I mean, it would make sense. I mean, Vegas isn't the only team looking for cap dumps. Obviously, now Calgary needed to clear some space to get Kadri on their roster, so it looks now like the easy way to go when it comes to clearing cap, just train for future considerations. And as long as the sort of cap stays the same and there are more and more teams getting tight with this cap, I fully agree that the future considerations will stay part of the league as long as that flat cap will.
Yeah, it's always just funny to me seeing good players get traded for nothing, and on top of that, you had a first round pick. Like, here, take this and this, and that's it. Don't give us anything back. It's fine. It's just it feels weird, but I get it, right? It makes complete sense, and we are going to see much more of that for sure. And while we're on the topic of salary cap here, the Habs are in a bit of a pickle. Okay, we are currently 6.1 million over the cap as we speak. Granted, Kent Hughes just had a little press conference talking about Carey Price, which we'll get to a bit later. But at first, I mean, we thought there was going to be another move, maybe, clearing cap space. We still have Jonathan Drouin and Paul Byron, who are question marks. Are they going to be healthy starting the season? So what do you guys think is going to happen here? Should we expect another move coming soon?
Yeah, honestly, I do expect a move to happen before training camp, more or less. Because again, they're going to have to be cap compliant before the regular season. They're pretty. I mean, it was just the crazy thing was like maybe I'm going to say 2-3 years ago they didn't have much depth down the middle. This Habs team, and now they have too many centers, and now they don't. Seems like they don't know what to do with some of them, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see a move happening for them to be cap compliant. I don't know who. I don't want to start throwing names out there because I don't have any kind of sources or anything. But they're going to have to make a hard decision for sure. I heard some people consider maybe Kirby Doc is maybe part of a package deal, but I personally don't think that's going to happen. I'd love to see Kirby play in a Habs uniform. He's again has a lot of upside. He's big. He can skate. Looked really good with Chicago early on in his career, and the World Juniors too. He looked very good back then. So I hope they don't trade him, but I mean, you never know these days, right? Because the Habs are kind of in obviously they're in a different situation than they've ever been recently. So you just never know, and that's all I can say on that.
Yeah, I also fully expect Doc to be part of the sort of rebuild that the Habs are sort of aiming for, and that he has a lot of promise, and that their main priority is to sign him. To what sort of deal and by how much, we don't know. I think that really is fully dependent on what kind of cap space that we can offer him. Obviously, Price eventually going to LTIR is going to help. Byron too, I kind of expect he might hit LTIR, which could clear some room for us. But I still think that in order to have a comfortable amount of flexibility when it comes to the cap, they still need to trade somebody. Like you said, Adrian, we got a lot of center depth now, more than what we started with, that's for sure. And a lot of quality options too. I mean, depends also because Monahan has one more year left on his deal. I think he's making about $6 million now. And we don't know if the Habs plan to sign him long term. But we do also have Dvorak, who I think you could get some good value for, either him or Evans. But I think Dvorak more than Evans could fetch you a little bit more value. Mm-hmm. But I would expect if you're going to move somebody, it'll be either Monahan gets flipped to Dvorak or Evans goes. And I think if we could somehow get rid of Hoffman in some sort of package, that would be even better for us. But I think we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I think for sure with those two LTIR moves, someone or two players will have to go for sure. And I think it'll be one of those three centers I mentioned, and hopefully Hoffman too, attached to some sort of package.
Yeah. I mean, anything could happen, really. We don't know what to expect with Kent the Wizard. We certainly didn't expect this today, so it's useless for us to speculate. But, with the LTIR and all of that, I think we should be fine to start off the season with this group. That's what Kent said, right? I'm just quoting him off of his presser today. He said that, if he doesn't make any more moves, he's fine with that. This is the team that he's comfortable with. And if a trade appears out of nowhere, then he will look into it and possibly do it. So stay on the lookout. Habs Tonight will cover any breaking trade. We are your source. Now, obviously, some other sad news today. Carey Price, we got some news about his knee. Doesn't seem good. Kent said that there is basically no chance he starts the season and could even not play the season at all. Now, there's no talk yet about retirement, but you have to think, okay, he was injured basically the entire season last year. This season, he might miss the entire season again. I mean, is it time to hang him up here? Or what do you guys think?
Yeah, it's. I heard the news earlier, and I've been thinking it for a while about Carey. I have just in my head, I think he might retire. I don't think the fan base wants to see it happen. But I think maybe what's best for his health might be the best thing for him to do. it's really sad to see, you know, like I bet you guys too, like somebody that you grew up watching, like I grew up with Carey Price from 2007, you know, watching him in the World Juniors till now. And it's hard to see him go through what he's been through the last couple of years from what it looks like on the outside. You know, I hope he can still play, and it'd be cool to kind of see him part of, you know, being a part of this new young team that we have. But I just hope he has something left in the tank. If not, I totally, you know, the fan base would totally understand. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's sad to think about. I think for me too, at least, Carey Price is really kind of the poster, like staple piece of the Montreal Canadiens, at least in my eyes. And when anyone kind of thinks about the Montreal Canadiens, I think Carey Price is one of the first names, especially in recent memory, to come up.
Easily.
And
Yep.
words can't even describe how much he means to our organization and what he's accomplished with us. And anyways, I mean, going on to his health, I think it's no shock that he can't perform for sure at the same level that he did for all these years. But now it's even a question of is his health even at a point that he can even play again, which is looking doubtful. So yeah, really sad to kind of think about. But I think that Carey Price in his mind will be sort of thinking of retiring with the Habs. I mean, we might see something happen like what we saw with the Shea Weber deal, where maybe like instead of us being stuck, like Carey Price retiring and us being stuck with his cap hit, he would go to another team in some sort of trade to kind of do the organization a favor, even though he wouldn't retire technically with the Habs. In our hearts and in his hearts, he would retire, because I'm sure like he won't even play a game for that other team. But yeah, I either see him going to another team just to help us out when it comes to the cap and then retiring, or even retiring with the Habs. But I think that Carey is the selfless type, and he would do us that solid of getting traded to another team, even though that means not necessarily retiring with the team that drafted you and that you played for your entire career.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, I think every Habs fan should be thankful for what we've seen out of Carey Price. You know, I remember I still watch that clip of when he got drafted, and the commentators were saying how bad of a move it was, and you know how we have Theodore and this is stupid. Like, oh my god,
I remember those.
the worst take ever.
Yeah,
you know, he turned out to be a Hart winner, Vezina winner, damn near took us to the Stanley Cup final. He did take us to the Stanley Cup final, almost took us to the Stanley Cup. Like, this man deserves his flowers. I will continue to praise his name. You know, I will take no dirt on him. Never. He is still one of my favorites. He's an idol of mine. I have his jersey. You know what he stood for. You know what he's done also for the Indigenous community as well. Everything about Carey Price is phenomenal. You can't say enough good things about him. And you know, say what you want about the cap relief and whatever, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, this is our franchise player. He's going to have his jersey in the rafters one day. That 31 is gone after him. Nobody's wearing that again. So, you know, shout out to Carey Price, man. Hopefully we get to see at least one more game. But if not, he ended it on a great note against the Panthers there with a 10-2 win. We'll never forget that one. Boys, as we wrap this up here, we won't keep you too long, but for the future here, Sean Monahan, how do we see him this season? Where does he fit? What kind of production do you guys expect from him?
Well, like I said earlier, I talked to his mom, and his mom says he's healthy, so that's good. He's healed well from the surgery he had this past off season. So, you know, personally, I think he's going to be competing for that number 2 center slot. If, you know, assuming him and Kirby Doc are on the same team, you know, we don't know, speculative trades, never know. But assuming the roster right now is what it's going to look like, I can see him competing for that number 2 center role. Like I've said before, when he's healthy, he's one of the best two-way centers in the game. He's unreal. So I think he'll have a good season. A fresh start is never a bad thing for athletes, especially when they've had some, you know, struggles in their careers. Sometimes a fresh start is could be a blessing in disguise. So I think I think he'll have a good season with us, and he'll be ready to go.
Yeah. Despite everything he's accomplished, obviously he still is the new guy in town, and he has to earn his spot on that team. And the center positions on our team are looking very full at the moment. We know, I think it's safe to say that Suzuki and Doc will be number 1 and 2 locked, and then 3 and 4 right now will be Dvorak and Evans. But again, someone might get dealt. So if that's the case, obviously he would just slide into wherever. But assuming that we keep all of them, I mean, Monahan would sort of have to prove that. Well, he would have to sort of earn a spot on that team. And I think I could sort of see him and Evans switching in and out of the lineup accordingly, depending on form and how the season goes. But there is one benefit to Monahan that we need to talk about, is that he carried the A in Calgary for a long time. That leadership is a great factor that he brings to the team. And especially if you got a new organization, new young sort of core, you need someone, that veteran presence, to kind of lead that group. And Sean Monahan obviously would be a great candidate for that. So if Martin St. Louis and everybody else see him as a great leader for this sort of rebuild that we're going for, then obviously that plays a factor in him cracking the lineup too. And if that's what kind of sets the edge between him and Evans, then I could easily see him sliding into that fourth line center, and depending on how the season goes, perhaps working his way up. But we'll see how that goes. But that's my point of view on it. What do you think, Shayne? Where do you see Monahan fitting in this lineup come the start of the season?
It's so hard to tell because we have 5 centers essentially, right, with Monahan now. So I'm guessing one of these guys, unless someone gets dealt, one of these guys is going to have to try the wing. I don't know of Dvorak, Doc, Monahan, and Evans who's more comfortable there, but that's for Marty. You got that, buddy. But no matter what, I think every guy will be utilized to their best potential this season. Like, that's one thing about Marty that I just love, is that he takes every good skill about every guy and puts it, it's like a little puzzle, right? He fits everything so well from the short sample that we saw. So I'm excited for Sean to get this new start. Hopefully he gets a chance to shine, because we know what he's capable of doing. Like, 3 30-goal seasons is nothing to cry about. So no, I'm really excited to see him in a Habs jersey. Hopefully he can start the season right. Kent wasn't too sure today in his presser if he's going to be good to go, but we know he's going to play this season. That's for sure. Maybe not opening night, but I'm excited to see where he fits in. And another thing too is fun that we have no expectations, right? He didn't really have great seasons these last 2 seasons. So coming in here, he's a new man, new player. Show us what you can do, man. We're excited. And Sean and Mama Kathy, if you guys are watching, we'd love to have you on the show. Okay, we had Nick and his mom, so if you guys want to do the mom thing again, we would love to have you guys and welcome you to Montreal and the Habs community here. For everyone watching, thank you again for joining us. Big day today again for the Habs, and if any trade breaks down, we're going to be first there. So thanks again, Adrian. Thanks, Marco. And everyone have a great day. Take care.
Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
Cheers.